Hey YouTubers, and welcome to Bevan's Builds. And today we're going to be discussing some of the really quick basics on prepping plumbing in underground for my pole barn. Now, what I wanted to kind of discuss, this is a very small area, and I don't even know if I'll ever even put a bathroom in my pole barn. But what it is I thought, you know what, before they pour the concrete, it's cheaper and easier to put in some rough plumbing now than it would be to try and do it later. Now, what my intention is I plan on having a 6x10, what I call a mechanical room over here in the corner of the pole barn. That will have my electrical panel. It'll also have my furnace in it. Now, I don't know if I will ever do the actual bathroom, but again, like I said, if I decide I want to put a bathroom out here, I mean, right there's my house, so it's not like it's that far of a walk. But if I ever do decide to do it, here it is. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is drain lines. Typically, your drain line, your main drain line, your sewage line, your city sewer line is going to be a 4-inch line. What I'm doing here is I'm using a 3-inch line. Again, it's because this is not a residence, it's just a garage. And for around, I think it's $182, they sell a holding tank. It's a 1,000-gallon holding tank, and you can use that for your septic tank. It's just a matter of getting it installed. And for that 1,000-gallon tank, it's only a 3-inch in and a 3-inch outlet, so that's why I went with the 3-inch line. Now, what you see here is I have 2 lines coming over here, and I have this line coming up, and then I have this pipe coming up over here. Now, what that actually is this is supposed to be my toilet. That is if I ever wanted to put in a shower. And this is supposed to be my clean out line. And what I'll probably end up doing once the floor is poured, if I ever did do a bathroom again, I would run that 3-inch line up, and then I would use that for the drain for the sink, which I would probably put over here. And then this pipe against the wall over here is the vent, which I could also use this as my main vent. But that brings us to another thing, venting, ventilation. You have to have good venting on your plumbing system. Now, with that venting, part of that means you can't use 90-degree bends when you're doing your rough-in plumbing. Anything that is wastewater has to be on a 45. So let me come down here and I can show you what I'm referring to. So this is my toilet fitting, which, like I said, I have a rough cap in for that. But anyway, the main pipe comes back, you go to a 45, and then you go into the 3-inch, which this whole line is 3-inch because your toilet has to be a 3-inch line. That's something else I'll quickly discuss is your toilets all have to be 3-inch drains, and then your shower should be a 2-inch drain, and your sink should be, well, me personally, I use a 2-inch drain, but your sink can actually be 1.5 inches. I prefer 2-inch. But anyway, as you come through the 45 there, you have what you call a 3 and 3Y. And then from that, you go into the main drain line. And then I have the same thing over here for the shower, which this is a 3, 3, and 2. And that's a Y also, which is at a 45. And then that 45 comes up to another 45 here. And then that follows along over here to my P-trap. And then this is actually the actual shower drain where it would go, which is that have to be cut off, and then the shower drain will get installed into that.
Have you ever looked under your sink or maybe at the back of your toilet and noticed those funny shapes in the pipes? This is called a P-trap, and today I'm going to show you how you can diagnose this, troubleshoot it, and make sure that all of your drains are running properly thanks to this ingenious little invention. Now this little system that you see here today, in some form or another, has been around for almost 250 years. Alexander Cumming invented this in Britain in the year 1775. He called it the S-curve. It was a different shape than this. And then over a century later, Thomas Crapper, also from Britain, modified it to become more like what we see today. And that was called the U-curve, but in a sense, they're both a trap. And a trap meaning it traps some water in here to prevent noxious fumes from the sewer from having a direct line into your home through your drains. If it weren't for this P-trap here, your house would smell like a toilet all the time. Now, when I asked my kids what they know about P-traps, they all assumed that it was called that because of pee or urine or something like that. But in fact, it's all about the shape. If you take the letter P, flip it around and lay it down, that's what you see right here. There's a letter P, and that's why it's called that. So the P-trap has been around for a long time, and if you understand how it works and how your general plumbing around your house works, it will help you to troubleshoot all kinds of issues as far as drainage and movement around the water in your home. Now I've got a fog machine over here to simulate the vapors that would come up through the sewer, and if your P-trap isn't functioning, this is what happens. Let's take a look. That's bad news. All of those vapors are coming right up through your sink, and they also go up through the air vent, which is normal, but when they come up through your sink like that, that means that that sewage smell and those noxious fumes are coming into your home. Now you might wonder, how does water actually get through? Does this not trap the water that's going out? And the answer is no, it actually works just fine. So when we pour some water down here, the pressure of the water going down creates an overflow, and then the water goes right through the plumbing just as it normally should. We've got fumes coming out of the air vent, but nothing can come out of this side over here. The P-trap is doing its job, protecting you and those in your household. Now, even if you have a fully functional P-trap installed and everything is working as it should, there are a few things to watch out for with these. Number one is evaporation. If you have a drain that doesn't get used very much, then eventually the water that's inside here will evaporate. This will sink down below that level that we showed, and those fumes will come up through the drain, and that can be a real problem. Now there's what's called an AAV, or an air admittance valve, and they come in all different flavors, but the general idea is they keep these replenished with water and make sure there's always some water in there to block off those fumes. Now another thing that could go wrong is that if you've got a lot of hairs in the drain, or you've got strings or fibers or different things like that, they create a little stream right here, a little trail, and they can actually absorb the water that's in the P-trap and let it travel down the line, and that will dry out what's in here. So that's another issue, and that's another reason you want to keep those P-traps clean. Now there are a few other things that you want to keep in mind if you're experiencing any issues with drainage. The first is the slope of your drain. Now if you look at that, you can see the bubble is far to the left, meaning it's sloping downward, which is a good thing. The recommended amount per International Plumbing Code is about 1/4 inch for every foot of pipe. So if I had a 6-foot pipe, for example, from here to the other end, then that other end should be 1.5 inches lower. Now if I move this up a little bit like this to where it's level, it might drain somewhat, but it's not going to drain well. And if I move it up at all to the opposite slope, then it's definitely not going to drain properly. On a shorter distance, you might be able to get away with it, but you definitely want to make sure that after you make adjustments to your pipes under your sinks in particular, that you haven't messed with that slope and that it's going downward just like it should. Another common issue with homes is the vacuum system inside your plumbing gets messed up because there's no air being pulled through the vent. And that's usually caused by an animal that's crawled down into those black pipes on your roof, and it has blocked that. And so you want to always check to make sure that you've got no blockage down there, because otherwise it becomes that same situation where you've got a block here of the air, and so there's a vacuum and there's nowhere for that water to leave. So be sure to check that out with your air vent pipes on your roof. Now on the topic of plumbing, one tool that I found is really helpful is my Topdon ITC 629. This is actually a thermal imaging camera. This thing is really cool. So this will actually allow you to see the temperature visually of everything around you. So here under the sink, for example, you can easily see the hot water line going up, and then you can barely see back there the cold water line, and you can even see how the P-trap and all of the plumbing is heating up with that hot water that's running through the drain system. This is also super handy for things like 3D printers to make sure you've got even heating along the bed, and also to see what your temperatures are. You can switch this from Fahrenheit to Celsius, and you can see on the side here the range goes from -20 to 450 Celsius and -4 to 842 Fahrenheit. Now for a limited time, TopDon is actually offering a discount coupon on this, so you can check out the link in the description below. I want to thank them for sponsoring the video today. This product actually also comes with its own hard case, some free thermal gloves, the power charger and USB cable so you can transfer images to your computer and everything you need. So be sure to check out the links in the description and get yours today.